Date ourselves from 1965, which is when my dad bought his first lorry. Although the company name actually goes back to, we think, about 33, which is when my gran and grandpa would get married, who were also John and Margaret. Then in 40, when my dad was born, and son was added, and the company became limited in 75. So it was originally farm, then agricultural contracting. My dad started agricultural contracting when he was 15, which would put him about 1955. So in 1965, he bought his first lorry and went out delivering animal feeds, and that's where the roots of the company began.
There's a tractor here in your museum.
Mm-hmm. That is the original tractor that my dad got. He left school at 15, so the farm couldn't support two wages or two mouths, for want of a better word. So his dad bought him this tractor and sent him out agricultural contracting. So that was purchased brand new, 1955. It was £600, and his dad paid an extra £30 for lights because he'd have to work all day and all night to pay for it. That would be a significant amount of money at the time.
Yeah.
And there wouldn't be any finance or hire purchase or anything in those days. It wasn't really a thing that would happen, so it would be saved up and paid for.
That suggests to me that your father was thinking about staying in agricultural contracting.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, that was what his roots were, and that was all he knew. So that was the natural progression. Obviously, speaking to him would be you'd get it straight for the source. But that would be his thoughts, and he would be looking to build an agricultural business of sorts. But it was also a dairy farm as well. So they did have a dairy herd, and they done the milk, cartoned milk. There wasn't pasteurisation or anything in those days.
What was the family business at the time?
Well, Mum and Dad had went from the one lorry in 65 delivering animal feeding. They had progressed to maybe half a dozen lorries by the 70s, and they were getting into more of the sort of mainstream haulage. So they were doing, basically, if it went in the back of a lorry, it get hauled here, there and everywhere. Done a lot for Northern Ireland trailers, or P&O Roadways as they're known as well. Done a lot for Grant Scottish Whisky. All the small operators, all small businesses that you would have in a town, in a city back in the day. So you had, Production Methods Limited, you had Transchem, you had, loads of different companies. So they'd built the business up to probably 30 odd trucks, there or thereabouts. Probably by about the mid-80s. I came into the business in 86, officially 86, because I'd been in the business probably as a young nuisance to a lot of people, for a very early age. Driving lorries round the yard and just getting involved in all sorts of things, trying to help.
Yeah, well, you call yourself a young nuisance, but sounds more like a young help around the business and doing a lot, filling in a lot of those gaps.
Yeah, it would be classed as school of life, So for 10-year-old probably, to you were 15, leaving the school, then it was the school of life. It wasn't, it wasn't sort of. Academia was not my strong point, so I was not very good at school. Didn't have a lot of interest in it. Was more interested in, getting my hands dirty and getting work done, getting something done that was of relevance, rather than sitting in a classroom. That wasn't my forte. So
your teachers were in the goods yard.
Yes, essentially. As I say, the school of life. So that's where you learn. That's where you learn most things, I think. Academic people are great. We need them. They're fantastic, but not everybody's academic. So you have to have the people that will go out there and get their hands dirty and pick up the shovel and get the job done as well.
So you clearly have a respect for those that have turned their hand to industry.
Oh, absolutely, yes, absolutely. I mean, as I say, I came in. I remember having a conversation with my dad, and he said, "What are you doing when you leave school?" This would be about 15. You leave school at 16 in those days, but I didn't really spend a lot of time at school anyway, so they never missed me for the last 6 months. So I says, "I'm coming to work for you." He says, "You're not working for me." He says, "Because until you've got a licence, you can't earn me any money, so you're no good to me. I thought, all right, okay. So that's kind of blew my plans for starting the family business. So I had thought, through the school holidays, I'd painted a couple of old lorries that were in the yard. So I thought the fleet was getting a wee bit untidy, a wee bit scabby, and I thought to myself, there was a couple of customers had mentioned that the fleet was not up to the standard they would expect for carrying their goods. So I heard this at the dinner table. Business was discussed at the breakfast, dinner and tea table. So I thought, I went away and worked out if I could paint a lorry, I can't remember the exact prices, but if a lorry was £400 to paint in those days, I could have bought all the material and the equipment and, got a wage of, I think it was £27.50 a week. Got a wage of that, and I could paint a lorry in a week, and I could do it for about £150. So essentially we could do a lot more lorries for the £400 than what putting them out to paint. So that's how I started. So started painting lorries, painting skips, painting trailers, and bringing the fleet back up to a good position, where it was sort of, the livery was correct and the advert was right.